What's happening with Puffy? I know you're not really tapped in, but what
the last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sounded me. Like he sounded me. I was like, yo, look.
I said, oh, it was... What does it feel like that you've been the only one calling this out all these years? No, I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time because no one in Hollywood can remember ever attending a... No, we've never heard of that person before. What do you think a plant is? Perhaps people don't understand the meaning of these words. 50 Cent is stepping into the drama and giving it his all. Kevin Hart's show sold out, and they're standing by him whenever he gets a stand-up ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian who came to LA and in his first year here had his own sitcom on network television and his own film called Soul PL that he was leading? Support for Mel Gibson's intentions to release a list linking Epstein and Diddy to some of the biggest names in the industry. As you are aware, Mel Gibson could never be silenced. He has a reputation for revealing the dark secrets of the industry, even at great personal expense. Some people call him a conspiracy theorist, but recently, a number of his claims have begun to add up. He is now releasing claims about well-known celebrities who are either skipping town or simply leaving the country. 50 Cent said that while they're evading problems, they will eventually have to make the payment. Among the first names on the list is Leo DiCaprio, who has been abroad for a while. Leo usually makes headlines for his work as a box office king or environmental activist, but lately, his personal life has taken center stage. He was seen lounging in Rome with his girlfriend Victoria Soretti, looking very laid back, but there's something strange about the timing as Leo has been connected to elite parties in Hollywood like those. Leo has always kept his involvement low-key, but now that Diddy is under fire, old rumors about Leo's ties to Hollywood's darker side are resurfacing. Diddy has hosted famous white parties, and if you've been following along, you'll see that he's currently dealing with some serious legal drama. Those parties were all about exclusivity and luxury, but people have been whispering for years about a darker side to them. The timing of this little escape is definitely worth a side-eye. Kevin Hart is also getting side-eye lately, as shortly before Diddy's arrest and all the legal drama, Kevin dropped a bombshell that he's closing down a bunch of his vegan restaurant locations. Is this Rome trip just a casual getaway, or is Leo avoiding the chaos while Hollywood burns? The Hart House. The CEO shared a heartfelt statement, saying, "We're so thankful for our amazing team, loyal customers, and community partners for making this change possible. Your support for Hart House means everything to us." At first, it seemed like just another business move. But with everything going on right now, you can't help but wonder, what's really behind this? People in the industry are starting to talk. Some think he might be trying to save money, while others say he's trying to distance himself from some risky connections. I mean, Kevin is known for throwing wild Hollywood parties, with Diddy often right in the middle of it all. But here's where it gets weird. When Kevin was asked about it, he got super awkward and dodged the questions completely. Someone even asked, "Hey, when you hosted for Diddy, did he bring out the baby oil?" Kevin's response? "You're asking the wrong person the wrong question." And now the big question is Diddy even safe in jail? And why is Kevin, who's usually so loud and bold, suddenly acting so quiet about all this? Makes you wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. Hustle suddenly pulling back. It's also worth noting that he's been pretty quiet about all the Hollywood scandals, no public statements, or anything now with Diddy. His arrest and more names coming up. Kevin's actions are starting to look like he's strategically stepping back, not just making a regular business move. Let's not forget what Cat Williams told us about Kevin. He made it all clear in 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show there. It's rare for someone to step into the comedy world and instantly get a standing ovation at any comedy club. But for him, the path was already paved. He had deals lined up before he even got here. Think about it. Have we ever heard of a comedian who moved to LA and, in their first year, landed their own sitcom on network television, and starred in a movie like Soul Plane as the lead? No, we haven't. Not before him, and not since. This makes you wonder. What exactly is a plant? Maybe people don't fully understand what that word means. And now, with his recent documentary with Chris Rock, he's showing you his journey and trying to set the record straight. Whole upbringing and comedy was on the East Coast, yeah. It was so how similarly was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing. It didn't happen, and I hate them seen like a petty individual for picking apart lies. But Justice League going to keep lying until you say we don't believe you, like it's important in the checks and balances of the universe. But Kevin Hart is just the second name on the list. Now we move on to the Carters. Jay-Z and Beyonce might just be the king and queen of staying quiet. These two have managed to stay out of all the drama, especially when Hollywood scandals pop up, but their long history with Diddy is well recorded and hard to ignore. Look, when it's been a tough road, but let's be honest, his marriage played a huge role in his success. No doubt about it. It completely changed how people see him. He's no longer just a street rapper or gangster rapper. Now he's seen as a businessman, an entrepreneur, a family man. And let's face it, being with Beyonce has taken him to a whole new level. As for Jay-Z and Diddy, they've been close for years. Whether it's making music, sealing business deals, or showing up to big events, these two have always been a power duo. They've hit the fanciest parties and charity events like it's second nature, proving they're more than just hip-hop legends, they're icons. Myself, I know, but the way he said it, I no matter how you answer that you snitcher. It's 2020, y'all, and it's different than when it was, the game has been elevated. As you can see, the serious allegations against Diddy are adding up fast. And now, Jay-Z's silence is really standing out. For someone who cares so much about his image, it's hard to ignore. Is he staying quiet to stay out of the drama? Or is this his way of quietly supporting a friend in a tough situation? Maybe that's why he's not picking up 50 Cent's calls. Beyonce's connection to Diddy, though, is a bit more complicated. Their relationship is a little harder to figure out, and it's not as simple as it seems. Now that Diddy has been sent to prison, she's asking a question that's been bothering her for a long time. Where were all these people when I was fighting to be heard? Suddenly, people are reaching out to her, offering help and support. But she's not buying it. Why now, she wonders. Why only when it's trending? It's frustrating, isn't it? People seem to care only when something becomes popular or starts making waves on social media. And let's be honest, the mainstream media is no better. They'll act as if they don't know this is happening. You're not going to see this story on Good Morning America, CNN, or even the Today Show. It's almost like they're intentionally ignoring it. Heck, even her name seems to show up differently depending on what browser you're using. It's as if someone is working behind the scenes to keep her quiet. And what about TikTok? She says they're not a fan of hers either. In fact, they've banned her from going live until January 3rd, 2025. They just don't like me. She laughs, though it's clear she doesn't find it funny. If you think that's just a coincidence, think again. Someone, somewhere, seems to be pulling strings to keep her out of the spotlight. But this isn't just about being silenced online. There's something much darker behind her story. She talks about being taken to a party, a place where there was some kind of contest happening. But this wasn't your typical party. It was terrifying. There was a shrine there, though shrine doesn't even feel like the right word. It was made of bones and personal belongings, torn shirts, ripped underwear, even pieces of people's hands. These weren't just decorations, they were trophies. Trophies of the horrible things that had happened to others before her. And the smell? It was unbearable. The kind of smell that stays with you no matter how far you run. It was the stench of fear, of death, and of something so sinister you can't even put it into words. This is her reality. It's not a story she made up for attention or clicks. It's what she's lived through. Yet, the world only starts to notice when it's trendy or when the right hashtags start trending on Twitter or TikTok. But where were all these people when she was crying out for help before? Where were they when she was fighting to have her voice heard, when she needed someone, anyone, to stand by her? The truth is, people love Beyoncé has been seen at Diddy's wild parties before, and back then, no one really paid it much attention. But now, with everything going on, it's a big deal. Beyoncé is super careful about her image, so when she's at any event, it definitely says something. Does it suggest a link to Hollywood's shady side? Or was she just hanging out with the top celebrities? While other stars are quick to speak up, Jay and Beyoncé have stayed silent. But they're not the only ones. J.Lo, Diddy's ex, also can't seem to stay out of the spotlight. Her relationship with Diddy in the late 90s still makes headlines today. Was pure tabloid gold, but it wasn't without its drama. That nightclub shooting in 1999 led to a major legal mess. While Diddy faced the heat, J.Lo quickly distanced herself and bounced. It's like a crazy game of pinball. Everyone's coming out of the woodwork with something to say. It's funny how everyone has an opinion now. Fast forward to today, and she's back in the spotlight with Diddy. Because of the latest drama surrounding him, Diddy and Sean Combs' lawyers are dealing with a lot right now. They probably spent their holidays working on ways to reduce the legal issues Diddy's facing. But one of the strangest cases involves a Michigan inmate who claims Diddy owes him money. A judge had already granted him a huge $100 million judgment, making this whole situation even more bizarre. The initial ruling was in his favor, but that decision was overturned. Now, Derek Cardello Smith is moving forward with his lawsuit, and he's planning to call big names like Pope Ion and J.Lo as witnesses. With all the allegations swirling around Diddy, she's been strangely quiet. For someone who's usually open about addressing rumors, her silence speaks volumes. Her connection to Diddy makes her a key player in all of this. Plus, she knows a lot about those infamous Diddy parties. In fact, many people thought she might have been the third person in that lawsuit, alongside Jay. Diddy now, let's dive into Mel Gibson's. The fact that there was no water and that the wind was blowing seemed a bit handy, but I can conjure up all sorts of awful conspiracy theories and other things. The circumstances are favorable, and there are individuals who are prepared, willing, and able to set fires. Are they operating under commission or voluntarily? I'm not sure, but some of the individuals they're capturing seem to be rather well-equipped. You see, he's been implying that certain well-known celebrities are either going missing or keeping quiet. When I discovered that I had really spent a considerable amount of time in my animal brain, Mel's suspicion that this may be more than a coincidence was confirmed. Terrible place to be, and by that, what do you mean that you've spent a lot of time in your animal brain? You're constantly in flight or fight mode, don't even sleep, and if someone looks at you negatively, you want to bite them. You also say and do things that aren't socially acceptable. I want to have a brain scan done by a guy named Daniel Amen, who's a brain guy who opposes all psych nets and other things, but he believes. Like, let me look at your brain. He put a radioactive tracer in me, so he looked at my brain and said, and he opens the file I'm in there with the guy, and he looks up, and he goes, first he went like this, and I said, what? And he said, are you okay like that? I said, yeah, I think so, in reference to the fact that Diddy's legal troubles are dominating the news. He's also implying that some of these celebrities may be responding to something much bigger happening in Hollywood, are attempting to avoid the moral and legal quagmire that Hollywood is now facing, but it seems that every path leads to Diddy, and this one is no exception. If Mel is correct, it seems like some of Hollywood's elite are rushing to distance themselves from Diddy and the whole lavish lifestyle he's associated with, as rumors about secret parties and his alleged behavior have been circulating for some time. However, why is Mel speaking out now? Some believe it's because things are changing in Hollywood. Whether Mel is seeking justice, retribution, or just wants to be heard, his remarks are undoubtedly making waves. Mel has been on the outside looking in because of his personal issues, and now would seem like the ideal time to speak out what he perceives as a poisonous society. The celebrity industry functions as an elite club that rewards quiet and devotion, and it's difficult to overlook the parallels to other scandals. Recall Harvey Weinstein's history of concealing his wrongdoings, or Jeffrey Epstein's hidden network. Years of these scandals taught us how long it can take for the truth to surface when powerful people band together to protect one another. Now, Mel Gibson's allegations and Diddy's mess indicate that we're on the verge of another major scandal. What's different about this one is how broad it seems to be, spanning music, movies, and even politics. Hollywood has always been adept at fabricating stories to shield its stars, but people are growing more doubtful, and social media makes it more difficult to conceal secrets and the gaps in the system. As more names come to light, the real question isn't just who's escaping, but who'll have to deal with the fallout. The system is beginning to reveal that all those stars who once seemed untouchable, like Beyoncé, Kevin Hart, and Leo, are now facing difficult questions, and the culture of silence that shielded them is disintegrating. The patterns are obvious. Will Hollywood finally learn from its past mistakes, or are we in for another round of scandals and cover-ups? What are your thoughts on Mel's desire to? Do you believe he deserves a 50 report if this Hollywood list is released? Please share your thoughts in the comments box, and don't forget to see this following video.